Hey everyone, Christine here. Today I'm making a video to demo some new paper clips, some smaller paper clips, and I have in the past always made my paper clips with jumbos, with the big boys, these guys, who are like 1 7/8 inches long. And I do that because A, you get a lot more room for artwork, but also B, I like the size. They work well in my journal. So here, for this video and the kits I'm launching now, I'm actually using the baby clips. Now, one of my online friends had asked, do I have any kits for smaller paper clips? And I was shocked to realize I didn't. So I do now, and I went with sort of a theme. You can see I've got some, because they're small, they work really well as little index tabs, so I made alphabets, and I've got a couple of alphabets going on. Now, I had made the larger steampunk alphabet last week, and you can see this has a magnet or a paper clip you can use. Same with these. One of these is a magnet, not a clip, and the rest I think are clips, just the way I made it. So you can see there's a sizable difference in size, and this one is actually a big one because this one has a tab, whereas these were created without the tab, so that it sits more flush to the page. So like even that one, you stick it here, and the difference between this size and this size is pretty huge. So this is a magnet one, but same thing. So that's what's different about these. They are designed specifically for the baby clips. And the other thing that's different about this kit is, in addition, or these kits, these small kits, in addition to showing you how to do the SparkBird fold to get the covered paper clip, I have also included folding lines for those of you who just don't fold and don't want to follow the tutorial. You can just see where you need to fold in order to get the shape. So I'm going to make one of each, a magnet and a regular paper clip one. I'm going to do it the SparkBird way, which means I'm not going to score the folds because that seems like more work than necessary. So let me see. Let me get this put away. And I've got two different, I've got this gothic sort of funky design, and then I've got this delightfully charming floral watercolor design. So let's see. Let's do the watercolors. Okay, so what you need to do is simply print out the page. There are like several pages to get all the letters, and then you are going to trim. Now this is the size you want it to be when you are working. So you just have to trim the top and bottom. I don't worry about the sides because we cut them later. Now, if you were going to be scoring instead of doing the SparkBird fold, magnets, you would score. So you would line up to these little faint lines that you can see here, and they're marked mountain, mountain, valley, mountain, so you know which way you have to fold it. But we're not doing that because, again, that seems like more work than is necessary, especially for this sort of application. So I'm just slicing that off. Okay, so what that does is it creates a sheet that is 7 1/4 inches wide. Because remember, you can do this with any paper. You don't have to buy these kits, although I love it when you do. But you can use any paper. So all you need to know is that you want 7 1/4 inches long, and that your first fold is going to be leaving a reveal of 7/8 of an inch. So you can use a ruler and mark. I can just kind of wing it on my little mat here and see that if I fold it to here, it's going to be about 7 1/8 or 7/8 inches right there. So that's what I'm going to do. And then fold it. And then just like the jumbo method, using the large paper clips, all you have to do is put in a string of paper clips. Now, if you know you're making as many paper clips as there are letters, you could just line them up. But since I'm going to take them out to round corners anyway, I just put in enough to get the fold to happen in the right direction, or in the right places. So now, simply holding these in place, so that they don't slide out, you simply fold, it's a little off there. There we go. Fold against this edge of the paper clip. So you can see, easy enough. So keeping in mind that we put the larger clip on the top and the smaller loop was on the bottom. All right, so there was our first fold. So now you flip it over and just fold this tab. I like to keep that tab there for reinforcement because this is the area that's going to get hinged a lot. So then I just simply roll and push against the paper clip itself. I just roll it and push. Okay, so now you can see here's the edge that's going to slip over the paper. Now you still have to make a decision. Do you want to have a tabbed paper clip or an untabbed paper clip? And the difference is this. If you want to leave a tab, like you can see here, it's longer here. You have to fold this edge and align it with this edge, like so. If you don't want a tab, if you want something more like this, then you fold it all the way against this edge. You just fold it tight. So there we go. Just roll it over and fold. Okay, so I made this one to not have a flap. And that's all there is to it. And then you just trim that off. Now again, if you'd made the flap, you wouldn't have had to trim that off. But we're just going to trim this off. I guess my knife is getting dull. And then we just slice them up, cut them up. So let's do, I'm going to take mine out because like I said, I didn't really line them up to where they were going to be ultimately. And I want to be able to slice with a knife because I just prefer that. And then I want to round corners. And I want to talk to you for a second about rounding corners because there's things you want to know. So what I'm doing now is I'm just lining this up here so it's relatively straight against this line. So I get a nice straight cut, sticking this in between this inch and lining it up because I tend to be a little bit particular. Yeah, whatever. In things being nice and even. So I'm going to come here. And there we go. I bent my knife a little on that one. That's okay. Yep. You are going through a few layers on that one. So now I'm going to go here and do the same thing with the M. So they do come different sizes. I didn't space them out to be the same size. I thought they had much more charm if they were allowed to be varying sizes. Okay, so this one we're going to make with a paper clip and the other one we'll make with a magnet. So the first thing we want to do, I'm going to trim that because I was a little bit uneven with the knife. Okay, so what I've learned making these baby clips or these little ones is that this corner rounder is not very effective. It does some nasty things. After you do the first one, it can't align to that corner anymore correctly. It's too narrow. So it does this wonky thing. Now you can, I will show you, you can make it work, but you have to eyeball it yourself. So here I'll do it with this one. And here you just have to look at the corner and keep it kind of, see there it wants to go in further than you want it to. So you have to do that. All right, so that was okay. If I had gone to where it wanted to go, it would have been that little thing I just showed you, which is like unacceptable. So it is usable, you just have to take more care. So I have been using my little baby one here, and I love this one because it has a very small corner as well. And I like the scale for these little guys. But again, don't rush out and buy something you don't want or need, and you don't even have to round the corners. I just prefer them rounded. Particularly this corner here that slides over the paper. All right, so there it is, all ready to go. And then we're going to do the M as a magnet. So let's do that. Let's round those corners. Okay, now doing the clip way, of course, is very simple. Just put this back on, and the only fold that's up, like if you were to look at it, you'll see there's only one fold that goes up. Put this on, it only fits one way with the small side on the small side. And then we get a little glue, and I've taken to using less glue than in my original videos when I first came up with this, because you just don't need that much glue. Now I do a little glue along all the edges because I like my edges sealed so that they stick together well. And then I just put a little glue here and here. And I can see I did not put that on straight, which of course, I like straight things. Okay, so now it's just line up these edges, or glue up these edges. And I fold that way. And then this last one. Oops, totally missed the paper on that. And the last one I give a little extra love just because it's going to be what holds everything else together. All right, there we go. Now you see I did not ink my edges. I have been inking the edges just a little bit. So in order to ink them now, I would have to slide this in here and make sure I get my inker and do it this way so I didn't get ink on the bottom. Little watercolor design. There, I wouldn't want ink on that, but I do want to ink this edge. And there's like no ink left on this, but you get the idea. All right, so there's one. Now this one we're going to do with magnets, and I'm going to use my itty bitty baby magnets that I said in my last video I had no real use for. But I used them and they were great. All right, so it's these little guys. They're so tiny. I wasn't sure that they would actually be enough, have enough grab, but they do. So for this, now what we can do very simply, this is the other one that we cut off this sheet that we made using the other method. This little tab here, we could just cut it off. It just makes life simpler if we do that. Done. All right, so we know that we want a magnet here. Okay, so we know that this is this area here, so I'm just going to take a magnet. They'll let go of each other. I know, I'm sorry to separate you. You'll be reunited soon. Okay, I'm gonna stick this here using a little glue. Oh, that is an issue, so put your glue down first. And I've been giving a little extra glue to the area where I know I want the magnet to kind of stay. Come on. All right, so it's easier now if you use something like a pencil, something non-magnetized, to get this where you want it. I think about there is good. Okay, and then just close it up. All right, so now we know that we want the other magnet to be on this side. So all we have to do is fold that closed, or fold it over, take the other, well, put the glue on, because that's going to make life easier after it connects to everything else. And then take your little magnet and let it find its mate, which it just did automatically. Now we close the flap version, which has a straight edge, and then we just close this up. And that, my friends, is all there is to it. Again, I would have inked if I were on my own time, so to speak, and I still might later. I still always do put a little paper in and slide it through to make sure there's no glue where we don't want it. But now you can see we have a little lovely magnet that will stick anywhere. Ta-da! So that's it. And this was just, again, a demo to show how to use these smaller paper clips. So I hope you are well. I'm sorry I've not been around. I did something to my shoulder that has changed my life a little bit temporarily. So again, I have lots of things coming up, and I hope you're enjoying summer and all the wonderful, beautiful things that it has to offer. And those of you in the other hemisphere, I'm not forgetting about you, but you just had summer. You'll have to get over it. Anyway, be good, be great, be awesome, do the things that you want to do, and I'll see you next time.